Good afternoon, everyone. Giraffes and lions in snow. South Africa, rare snowstorms. The planet is continuously being soaked. Evacuations across Japan. Well, Honshu and Tokyo flooded. Biblical style. Appalachian rainfalls coming in with a hurricane. And the volcanoes are beginning to awake. Let's take a look at it. And as we look at the possible rainfall totals here, Appalachian up through Georgia because of that hurricane coming straight from the south. Now these obviously are going to change as the hurricane landfall pattern changes. So for right now, this is the best trajectory they have in the rainfall totals. That purple is 12 plus inches, a good foot, all at one time in a couple of days. That's going to be massive flash floods. And another glimpse at it here, East Tennessee up into western North Carolina. They have it still at 12 to 14, 16 inches. As we come into those browns, though, we come down to 6 to 8 to maybe 9 inches. Keep your eyes to the forecast. That is incredible amounts of rain getting slammed into the mountains. And stay away from the streams this time, please, for your own safety. Snowmageddon in Africa. Multiple roads closed. People trapped everywhere. Deserts are turning green. Thunderstorms, just massive rains across northern Africa as well. But we'll stick to the southern part of the continent. As you can see, so much snow came down so quickly that traffic is stranded. And when I say that, they were stuck on the roads for 48 hours at least. What's it like sleeping in a frozen cab for 2 straight days on the road? Nobody could move. Emergency services were paralyzed as well. This is like a major event for any country across the planet. Yeah, you would have to conserve your fuel and only turn on the car to heat it up when you really needed it. You just wouldn't want to let that idle for all that time. Unprecedented snowstorms, and this is, into the beginning of spring, so generally not this deep. Maybe some flurries in this spring, but not up to 3 feet in some areas. And it's very rare, very, very unusual. And when I say that, here's the zebras, however you like to say that, potato, hanging out in the snow. I know horses can stay in the snow, but then we got the giraffes here. Always fun to look at them. But seeing a giraffe foraging above the snow line, well, that's not something that you normally see either. And, look at those people trekking. You got open air cabs because it's normally hot, but then you got to put on parkas and hats and, come into serious winter clothing. But there they are in their gracefulness in the snow, but not to be outdone. The lions in the snow, too. You can't go very far without running into a lion in the snow. Well, at least this rare snowstorm. The opposite, heat, Kilauea beginning to fissure once again. If you haven't seen that news, Kilauea coming into another eruptive phase, although this time it won't have that water ejecta when all that lake had run into it last time and the pressure built up a couple years back. Kilauea Mideast Rift Zone resumes its eruption. Now, it started on September 16th, continues today. Iceland's going off, fissure, just like this. So the pressure seems to be building. Now, what is causing this pressure to build? This is from USGS here, quick overflight. And if you thought that was strange, let's move over to the Carl Zozo volcanic field in New Mexico. Copernicus spotted this and they're like, whoa, there was some sort of eruptive event that nobody saw or heard because it's so remote. And then look at the valley that was filled. Mud flood style? Perhaps. Bank of America said, do what central banks are doing, buy gold. Gold is up 20% in 2024. The tech-heavy AI-driven NASDAQ only 17%. Reports coming out of a Samsung solid-state battery breakthrough sent silver skyrocketing. JP Morgan forecasts silver to surpass $36 an ounce in 2025. And Patriot Gold Group has an OP for Life IRA where your IRA or 401k could be in physical gold or silver. No fee for Life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. Now following the Euro floods, it did finally reach down to Budapest, North Budapest, inundated. So the flood controls were not high enough because they did not anticipate the additional runoff from the 10-foot snowfalls that was then feeding into the tributaries. They were looking at main river gauges, which is smart, coming down from Czech Republic and from Vienna all the way down. But the snow that had fallen in that record snowstorm, the temperatures rose right back up into the 70s, a massive runoff of the snow waters down in there as well. And just as that was happening, it peaked and then crested over the anticipated high water level. I'll have to get you some finals, but it was crested right around 920. They were planning for 860 centimeters, so overtopping, and it will dry out. The flood has passed, so the water should subside. And to see what kind of mud cleanup they will have there. So percent of normal precipitation, this is from the 9th to the 15th. That blue is 6 times the normal rainfall. And where that dark blue patch is, then it ran right down into Hungary where the white is sandwiched in the green. And all the flow off came out of those mountains as well. And also now we're into Italy. Extreme flooding going on as well. And what is it about all the floods everywhere across this planet? It is just all encompassing. Here's, Italy, vineyards, factory zones, countryside. And it is all encompassing and everywhere at the same time. And also, housekeeping note here, please join me on Rumble and BitChute, the Adapt 2030 channel. I linked those in the description box below, backups. Also, a couple of videos there that I couldn't post here on YouTube due to the content, so jump over there, subscribe. But shall we continue on the floods? Japan. Now, when you look at flood control, Japan is near the top on the planet, if not at the top. I mean, they have typhoons every year, and their flood control is, bar none, one of the best on the planet. Yet this was overrun so quickly that they had to put out evacuation orders, and like entire towns are swept away. That 30,000 people evacuate now, you have 5 minutes, and then 23 rivers in Ishikawa Prefecture. But 23 rivers in flood, and you can see the debris is starting to pile right on the bank, precariously close to going off into the city there. Thousands of people, evacuation orders consistently, and here's some of the footage coming out of the waters that began to run. This is exactly what they were saying, get off the roads right now, and then this wave of water just came rolling down the mountain from dry to what you're seeing in a matter of minutes. And of course, when you're further into the countryside, I mean, this is what the towns are looking like right now. The amount of water that had come down, they're wondering where all the water came from. Literally, I mean, the river's over there somewhere, and you can see where the roads were, past tense, and it's just every mountain pass had the exact same look at it where it starts to funnel downstream again. And you look at emergency vehicles submerged there. I mean, this happened so fast that those who were there to rescue got caught themselves. And if you're looking at, hundreds of thousands of homes like this damaged or underwater, that insurance companies, how are they going to be able to pay for that? I mean, Japan's expensive. But then we take a look at the Tokyo subway here. This is from last week, and it's just been consistent rain. So, I mean, you're looking at this, closing the subways, floods. I mean, they had to shut down part of the system, delays, and it's kind of difficult for people to walk through water like this. And this is in Tokyo. So can you imagine the flood control in Tokyo? And it's still overwhelmed. That system? And nature is absolutely in an amplification phase. So let's take a look. Comet C23A3 Tsuchinshan Atlas. There we go. Chile capturing it this morning. That tail is definitely going to get longer. Maximum length and brightness of the tail should be around somewhere October 10th to the 15th. Not exact on that, but it's within that small window there. So it's gone from this, what you see here, from this. As you can see the growth in just a few days in the length of the tail there as we get the electric comet spinning around the sun. And I would say one thing with comets, always been a precursor, an omen of ill. I don't know what it was that the Chinese had known and Japanese and sort of in Asia. Anytime these comets that were seen in the skies, there was some sort of natural disasters, plagues, famines, overthrows, or some sort of governmental change would occur during the times of comets being seen. And they even tracked the different types of comets, what types of tails they had, because they realized the tail The different style of tail, as if you would look at plumage on a bird, indicated the intensity of change in society and the availability to procure food or grow food based on the comet sightings. That goes back thousands, plural, of years. So when we see something like this come in the sky and all of this damage is occurring across Europe and Asia at the same time right now, I mean, Asia's just seen some, 1,000-year floods, no joke. And we got the comet coming back, so they're going to start to put two and two together. So on the societal end of things, of how people are going to start to equate all of these natural disasters with signs in the heavens, signs in the skies, food prices increasing, more crop losses, it starts to get into that feedback loop of, are we somewhere right now in time? Are we at the beginning of a cycle once again? Or have we entered the cycle of disruption? These are things that are in the back of everybody's mind, cooking on slow burn in the back there. But places like Asia, places like Europe, it's directly in the front because everybody's seeing it. There's nowhere you can't obfuscate from it anymore and bury it on page 9 in the news. It's out your window everywhere across the planet at the exact same time. Here, I'm going to be trying to live broadcast on Friday as the eye of that remnant tropical depression, what was a hurricane, is coming directly over, it looks like, at least on the models, our area of East Tennessee. So we're going to put some cameras out front. I'm going to try to bring a few people by through the day to talk, and we'll have a live stream for a good 8 to 12 hours watching the storm front pass through. That'll be on Friday. Supposed to be incredible rains. Biggest rain ever we had here was 6.5 inches in an evening. This is supposed to be 12 inches plus. And you can hear the thunder rumbling right out there. So I'm going to end the broadcast here right after this because I'm going to turn off my computer. I don't want to get stuck in an electrical phenomenon myself here. So the last thing with water, here's some calmer, more beautiful waters versus flash floods. Iceland for you here. It's interesting how the strip of black sand separates open ocean from lagoon and then ice-covered mountain. Nature comes in so many beautiful forms and fashions as well, but can also be destructive. But I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue the discussions and then more look for the solutions. See you next time. We'll wait for the thunder. Bye for now.